Hi, I'm Matthew. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Tom.
Nice to meet you, Tom. Nice weather out today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's alright, I guess. Could be better.
I like that shirt you have on.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big Browns fan.
I'm a Browns fan myself. I've been my whole life.
Oh, yeah? I love the Browns. I was there in '94 when the Browns were in the playoffs and beat the Jets. It was crazy. Vinny Testaverde was thrown for 300 yards, and they ended up winning. Do you remember that?
I do. I was a little bit younger at the time, so I don't remember all the details, but I remember I was pretty excited that they won. How do you think about the current situation of the team?
Man, I don't know how to think. I mean, I'm glad they got rid of Romeo a few years back, but I'm not sure Mangini is the answer either. He doesn't exactly seem to be a good fit, but we'll see. The main problem is they don't have any good wide receivers.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with any of that. Um, Maybe we can talk about the Browns and football here in a little bit. We'll try to switch gears a little bit. Have you ever heard of occupational therapy?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So what do you think occupational therapy is?
Well, I had some therapy a long time ago as a result of some of the things that happened when I was in Vietnam, and I think they called it occupational therapy.
Okay. Um, so when you were having that occupational therapy, what sorts of things were they doing with you?
I think it was mental stuff. I'm not really sure.
Okay, that's all right. So basically, what occupational therapy is, it's it helps people with their daily activities, regardless of what those might be. Um, so, for example, if somebody had a stroke and they can't use the left side of their body anymore, an OT would help that person bathe and dress and do some of their activities, even though they've had that stroke and one side of their body is not working as well anymore. So, does that help you out a little bit?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, good. Well, like I said, OTs help with daily activities. I'm kind of here today to get a little bit of background about what some of your activities are and to get a little picture, I guess, of what your routine is. So, um, that being said, do you have any questions for me before we start?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, how about you tell me a little bit about your daily routine?
Why should I tell you about what my life is like? What? Are you 23, 24? You don't know about the hardships of life. You've never seen the sides of war.
You're right. Um, I don't know what war is like. I'm sure that you've seen a lot more than I have. Um, if I remember correctly, you mentioned Vietnam earlier, right?
Yeah, I did. I served 3 tours in that hellhole. Seen some hell in my day, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. It made me who I am today, but I was a soldier, through and through. Still am now.
Okay. So that last statement that you just made about still being a soldier now, um, I'm a little unclear about that. What are you still affiliated with the military then? Take a minute. Um, there's no hurry.
More or less. I have fellow soldiers on the street that I lead and protect.
So what sorts of things do you do with these soldiers?
Well, that varies. Basically, whatever needs to be done at the time. Finding shelter for the night, food to eat, clothes, depending on the season. I had previous experience leading people when I was in war, so kind of take it upon myself to be in charge.
Okay. Um, so kind of what I'm gathering is you and these friends are soldiers of yours. You're all pretty close and you kind of do a lot of things together.
Basically, yeah.
So besides spending time with and leading your soldiers, what sorts of other things do you do?
That's pretty much it. It's my calling and what my job is at this point.
Okay. Um, well, having a good group of close friends is important. I know how much my friends mean to me. So, how long have you and these soldiers been doing these things?
Around 10 years, I guess.
Go
That's That's not really your business, is it?
Okay, I'm sorry. I can see why you might be upset. Um, from now on, I'll make sure that I have your permission before I ask about your past circumstances. How does that sound?
Please.
Let's get back to your routine with these soldiers.
What about it?
Being on the streets and all, what's the sleeping situation like? Do you normally sleep in the same place?
Yeah, there's a homeless shelter that I was always unable to sleep in. A few occasions that I don't, I know of a few places under bridges throughout the city. It's not really an issue.
Okay. I'm glad you have that facility. So if there was one issue that you think would be causing you and or the soldiers the most problems, what would that issue be?
Well, we go to the shelters as much as we can, but we go hungry a lot. At this point, I pretty much have all the times and places throughout Columbus that have meal plans, but getting there at a specific time is not easy. The homeless shelter I sleep in at night, it's on the other side of town from where I need to get breakfast. By the time I walk there, the meal has already been served. The same is true with dinner. If I eat dinner where I can, by the time I get back to the shelter, it's already filled for the night, and I don't have a place to sleep.
So it kind of sounds like maybe getting enough food might be a problem, but transportation might be even a bigger problem. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's try to get this down to details in order to kind of figure out the best possible solution. If having food was resolved for you and your soldiers, how would it look to you?
Well, there's 6 of us, including myself. 3 meals a day would be adequate, so I guess having around 18 meals available a day would be good.
So, what are some of the plans or the resources that you've used up to this point to try to get these meals?
I've tried getting more than one meal at the different food pantries, but that didn't work. At the open shelter downtown, where they serve dinner, I tried to get them to serve breakfast in general, not just to my soldiers. That way, others would benefit, not only myself, but they said they didn't have the money or the funding. That's about it.
So, if you had perhaps access to the bus lines, would you be able to get to the food pantry and then back to the shelter at night to get to bed?
Absolutely.
Have you maybe looked into getting a church or some other organization to get you a bus pass every month?
No, actually, I haven't.
Um, Sometimes certain organizations will give bikes away, which could be obviously quicker mode of transportation than walking. So that might be an option that you should look into. Um, I know you all like to stay together, but would you perhaps be willing to split up with your soldiers for a bit in order to get everybody food?
I have been hesitant in the past. Obviously, I wouldn't be the one fixing our problems, but at this point, yeah, I guess I would.
So, I mean, even if everybody is splitting up for a bit, you would still be the one creating the solution. Um, can you perhaps think of some other options, assuming that you all would be split up?
Well, perhaps we could each volunteer at a different organization in order to each get an extra meal a day.
Right, right, yeah. I think that's a great option. Um, so if you can try to maybe recap the different options that we've talked about here in the past couple of minutes, so so we're kind of on the same page.
All right, well, the first one is trying to get the bus passes. I think this would be the best solution we can have. I can try to talk to the bus company or churches to see if they'd be willing to give us 6 monthly passes, either by donation or volunteering. People donate bikes at various locations, like you said, and shelters throughout the city. If we can get access to bicycles, it might be possible to get food and back to the shelter at night in time. Finally, we can split up and try to each get a meal that way.
Great. Well, I think this is about the end of our session for the day. I think you've got a lot going for you between the shelter where you have a place to sleep at every night. That's obviously a big issue that you don't really have to worry about. Between your friends, that's a great support system that a lot of other people don't have. And with the food situation, I think we've come up with some good options today that hopefully might be able to work for you. Um, so before I leave, is there anything else that you need from me or that you want to ask me?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it then. Um, have a good day.
Thanks, you too.